no slouch team, and there's a lot of talk that Hurts may be the guy in Philly now. So, Max, how much pressure is on Jalen Hurts this week?
Not so much as you might think. Obviously there's pressure. He's a first-year starter. He made his debut as a starter last week, but not so much as a lot of people may think. The bottom line is this. Hurts won last week. Didn't just play okay, but the team won against the best, hottest defense in the league, right? Behind a line that was supposedly so terrible. That's why Carson Wentz keeps getting sacked, keeps throwing interceptions, keeps fumbling and turning the ball over. It's the offensive line's problem. That's the reason why he can't find receivers. He doesn't trust what he sees. It was fine with Hurts. And it's not just because Hurts was mobile. As I mentioned, Randall Cunningham got sacked 60 times one season and 72 another for the Eagles, right? Offensive line, if it's no good, I don't care if you're fast. No, it's because Hurts just ran Peterson's offense. He did what he was asked to do to the best of his ability. And we need to find out about that ability. How great is it, right? But he just played within himself. He didn't do too much. The only time the ball got turned over is when they held him up and someone came and punched the ball out. But it wasn't because of bad decisions, right? So he has that mentality. Do what is asked of me. And that's going to help. But there's something else, guys. The Eagles franchise, Howie Roseman, the GM, went out and drafted Hurts in the second round instead of getting receiver help or help on the defense. Didn't trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Didn't move up in the draft to get C.D. Lamb. Used that second-round pick, saved it. Those would have been good moves to go get a quarterback because he feared Wentz's regression. Oh, that must mean there's pressure on Jalen Hurts. No. Actually, what this franchise has shown is they're going to give Jalen Hurts a look right now because they need to decide whether they have to go out and draft another quarterback. There's some pressure there. Hurts would like to show enough that they believe in him going forward, but it ain't to hold off Carson Wentz. They got to sit Carson Wentz the rest of the season, and they know it.
So they got to sit Carson Wentz the rest of the season, and they know it, so there's no pressure. But there is pressure because he wants to be the starting quarterback into the future, and there's something. Which one is it?
Well, how much is he under this week? He's under some pressure every week because he'd like to show them that he can handle the job. Sure, there's always pressure in the NFL, Stephen A., but there's no special pressure this week to fend off Carson Wentz so there's not a quarterback controversy going forward. They have to sit Carson Wentz the rest of the year. Hurts has to know this.
They have to sit Carson Wentz the rest of the year, but I'm going to sit up there and say, because I'm going to answer the question, that there is some pressure on him. And the reason why there's pressure on him is because, again, all the things that you highlighted about the organization picking him. Well, guess what, Max? He has an opportunity to keep the people on board that has faith in them. Because if he ends up sticking up the joint, if you're Jeffrey Lurie, you might get rid of Peterson and Howie Roseman. And if you get rid of both of them, what kind of security blanket or kind of support base is Jalen Hurts going to have moving forward? He's not going to have that. So all of these games are important. It's not necessarily important for him to perform at an elite level, but he needs to progress week after week after week. He needs to show the kind of promise that makes them say, okay, we made the right choice in selecting this kid. This kid has promise. We made the right choice in him potentially being the successor to Carson Wentz because of what he brings to the table. Because if he's not able to do that for you and you squash that notion almost immediately, that seals the fate of the two guys, or at least one of those guys in either Peterson or Roseman, who had such faith in you that they elected to draft you in the second round. That's the situation involving Jalen Hurts as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Well, but you just accused me of not answering the question implicitly by saying that you're going to answer the question. The question is, how much pressure is Jalen Hurts under? Not whether or not there's pressure. Of course, we all know there's pressure in the NFL to start at quarterback. Obviously, there is some pressure. How much? Are you saying there's tremendous pressure on Hurts this week? Because I'm saying that's not the case, to be very clear. There's not like the utmost pressure on Hurts.
Well, first of all, don't
now.
compare your answers to mine, because I highlighted one point and I illuminated that one point instead of dancing like Fred Astaire. That's number one. I specifically said Peterson and Roseman's jobs are on the line. If he stinks up the joint, his support base could be gone and it could cost him his career. That would mean it's significant pressure. Now, I'm sorry I'm sorry I didn't use the word tremendous pressure or significant pressure, but I thought by highlighting the fact that the head coach and the GM, who ultimately could lose their jobs if he stinks up the joint, I thought that was significant.
Yeah. That's fine with me, Stephen A. I answered the question. You turned the question into whether or not there was pressure, right? That's not it. It's how much is he under. Of course there is some.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course there is some. Well, that's by the way, read the question.
My bad, Max.
Is Jalen
You answered the question. You answered the question.
No problem.
You answered the question, Max.
Right.
Yes,
Stephen A.
Congratulations.
No problem. You retract it. That's fine. The point is, this Sunday.
I am retracting. Yes, Max, I'm retracting the question. Makes you feel better?
Yes, good. Good.
Okay.
I didn't feel bad in the first place. This upcoming Sunday, especially after a good performance in a win against the Saints defense, especially knowing that he will have more chances coming up because Carson Wentz cannot start for the rest of the season because they need to find out about Jalen Hurts. It means that this is not his Super Bowl. This is not, oh my God, do or die time for Jalen Hurts. And in fact, even conceiving of it that way would be bad for Hurts. But I don't think he does. I think he is taking it one game at a time. And when you saw the way he played against the Saints, the whole thing with Carson Wentz trying to do too much. Hurts didn't try to do too much. He did what was asked of him.
You're right.
Right. I'm not sure what just happened, but it was really entertaining. You two are hilarious. Let's keep going here on First Take. Good times, happy family, old married couple. I don't know what we are. What's LeBron really saying with his latest comments about Giannis? I'm finally going to share those comments with you. And of course, Max and Stephen, they might answer the question. I don't know on today's show. They might not. And then is Dame Lillard a top point guard in the NBA? I'm looking for.
Do them some good to be on the road. Who knows?
And last thing for you, Dan, we always talk about award season. Won't have that great gala the night before the Super Bowl. Just another casualty of the coronavirus, like the Pro Bowl. But got to give the league credit. 100% of games to this point in the regular season have been played. But who do you think right now, in your opinion, from those you talk to and the way you follow the league, offensive and defensive players of the year to this point?
I like the offensive player of the year has never gone to a tight end, but Travis Kelce is currently leading the league in receiving yards, which no tight end has ever done. So give a look at his candidacy as a possible offensive player of the year. I mean, look, there's all kinds of candidates. Obviously, I mean, Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook at the running back position having dominant kind of years. Wide receivers like Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs. I'm sure there are people I'm not listing who their fans are going to be upset with me. But I think the point about Kelce is worth watching because it would be historic to see a tight end win that award. But what Kelce's doing statistically is historic, so watch out for that. We talk about defensive player of the year. The overreactions column we brought up, could Chase Young get in that mix? Obviously, he looks like the front runner for defensive rookie of the year, and he seems to be getting about 3 weeks better every week. It's incredible to watch his development throughout the season, but he's going to have to overcome guys like T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, who are up at the top of the sack leaderboard. Xavier Howard is leading the league in interceptions, so good races there. But I think it's interesting to watch and see if a tight end could break through and win it, and if a rookie could win it on the defensive end.
It'll be something we'll certainly keep an eye on. Dan Graziano joining this morning on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Dan, thank you very much.
You got it.
All right, Key, I got to hit you with this because it's a little bit strange. So explain this to me as a guy that caught a ton of balls and was one of the better offensive players of your era. Last year, and this is something that Dan got into, and we're going to get into this a little bit more with your offensive and defensive players, you and Jay's coming up in just a bit. Last year, the NFL MVP, you look at a guy and you say, all right, this one's easy. It's Lamar Jackson. He's the unanimous MVP, only the second unanimous MVP in league history. Yet the offensive player of the year last year in the NFL was Nepotism. Key's nephew, Michael Thomas. Help me square that. Lamar Jackson is the unanimous MVP because he is crazy good on offense, but your nephew, also crazy good on offense, is the offensive player of the year. I think it's great that both guys get a chance to be in the spotlight, win some hardware, but as an offensive player, doesn't it sort of stand to reason that one of those guys should win the award? It almost feels like Lamar should have won both, with all due respect to Michael. Is it a little bit weird?
You know, they just, receiver-wise, it's hard to get the MVP, right? Just like it is at the running back spot. The quarterbacks touch the ball, 40, 50 times a game, depending on what the offensive flow is. And so the opportunities are there for them more. It's a snack, crackle, pop league. They want to be able to showcase the quarterback position. Wide receiver, that's why that award is there for the offensive player of the year, whether it's a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end. The MVP conversation is certainly almost always is going to be a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady. The last player that was not an offensive player to win the league MVP was who?
Jerry Rice.
No, offensive player that was not offensive player was Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's it.
I was going to mention that Jerry Rice was only the second. So Thomas joins Jerry Rice as the only two wide receivers to win Offensive Player of the Year. Sorry, I didn't hear you there offensively and defensively, but that also goes to show just how difficult it is to win at key at a dependent position when Jerry Rice and Michael Thomas are the only two wide receivers to win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, it typically goes